Welcome to Appliance Tech Tutorial. On this video, I'll be replacing this compressor. The information that you see tells us the brand, the model number, the rated voltage, and so on. This is the new compressor that we're installing. I have already installed it, brazed it. The horsepower for this compressor is 1/5, and the refrigerant that this compressor is using is R134A refrigerant. I have already replaced the pencil dryer. I have already vacuumed the system also. 15 minutes has passed now and it's still on -30. So that makes me confident that the system is not leaking. So I'm gonna charge it. But before charging it, I open on the high pressure side just to release a small amount of gas which takes out the atmospheric gases that went through the yellow hose when we're removing from the vacuum pump to the cylinder. Well, my new compressor is R134A, and as I have mentioned, as the one that I'm replacing, but I noticed that this fridge at the back and the information on the inside, it's written R600, meaning that the original compressor that came with the fridge when it was new, it was a R600 compressor, but this is not gonna be a problem since this is a frost-free since this is a frost fridge according to my experience. So what I'll do now, I will put gas in the system. Usually I close the cylinder and open the gauge, then open the cylinder and let the gas get in slowly. So some technicians complain about my way of regasing. What I like to do, I like to put gas in the system first. I do that until my gauge reads at least 50 or 60. When I have reached 50 or 60, I stop and I start the fridge. So now we are still putting the gas in the system. What I've noticed here is that the guy that came before me to fit the compressor that I'm replacing used this small condenser, replacing the original condenser. His reason for that, he told the client that this original condenser was blocked, but I was shocked when I tested it. It wasn't blocked. So I don't know, maybe it was blocked by the time he was testing it, then later it unblocked itself. I really don't know. What I did, I just joined the two condensers. What you see now is the pipe from the small condenser straight to the original condenser. It joined to the pipe that is coming all the way down from the original condenser. So I'm using both condensers. My client told me that the compressor that I'm replacing did not even finish a year working. So I told him that replacing the original condenser with the small condenser was a big problem. So that is the thing that might have damaged the old compressor or the compressor that I'm replacing. Here on my gauge, the gas is now sufficient for me to start the fridge. We are between 60 and 70, but that's not a problem. So what I will do now, I will plug the fridge so the compressor will suck the gas, because that's how a compressor works. It sucks from the suction side, which is the cooling system, and discharge to the discharge side, which is the heating system or the condenser. Here we're backing to fit the plug for a fridge for it to start, but we've managed now. So what is happening now is that the gauge is dropping. This is because all the gas from the suction side is being sucked and discharged to the condenser. So now there is nothing on the suction side because the gauge dropped and went below zero. So that means I must add gas while the compressor is running. Wait, after that, I will then observe it. We are still going below zero. We are still going below zero. So that means I must then add gas again. As you can see, the gauge that is moving, I am adding gas, but I'm not opening too much. So after adding, I then wait while the gas is still coming into the system. When I have waited enough, I then close again and check if you are still going below zero. If I close and I see that I'm below zero, I add again. Here you can see that I've closed and we are still below zero. We are a little bit below zero, but it can be seen that, or I can see that I'm going up, because if I was adding and the needle was still going to back to the same place or even below from where it was, I would know that the system is blocked. So whenever I'm adding, it takes the gas and compress it on one place and doesn't circulate it. So I'm now adding again. I will then close the cylinder and check if I'm running at zero, below zero, or above zero. So now after closing, my system is running at zero. So that is fine with me. But what I like to do, I like to add a little bit of gas just to be a little bit above zero and close. Just a little bit, maybe 0.1. So as you can see on the gauge, I'm still adding some gas on the system. I've closed now. We are at zero. I need to add again. So that's how I regas, and it's a process. I always say to regas requires patience. So if you do not have patience, then you are in a wrong trade. I am now happy with what I see. Definitely the freezer is gonna freeze and the fridge will cool. I know that I'm supposed to be using a scale and charge the refrigerant in grams, but that's not what I do. I just charge a system like this because I don't have that scale. If you like this video, subscribe, like, comment, and share.